What's up YouTube? This is Jermaine back in another video. This is a story time video and I want to talk about Uber back in the day. And I'm talking about back in the day when I started, like in 2013. And I'm just going to talk about some of the things I remember of Uber back then versus today and just how things have changed over the course of a couple years. I remember when I first signed up for Uber, I was working like a valet job. I saw the same Uber driver drive up twice within 1 hour and I was thinking to myself, dude, that guy is making money. I saw his phone. His phone was like in between the steering wheel and the door and he was dropping off customers on a one-way street and I was standing there so I could see. I saw it twice. It said like $25 and like $23 and I thought to myself, I know he's not making all of that money, but that sure is more money than I'm making standing right here on the street parking cars. People don't even tip in San Francisco working as a valet. Like I was a valet down in SoCal and I would make crazy tips. I move up here to San Fran and it's like no one tips. So I'm thinking, well, if I'm doing this valet job mainly for tips and I'm not even getting tips, it's not worth me doing this job. Like I should just go do another job because, you know, without tips, I'm only gonna make like, you know, maybe like 13 bucks an hour. And 13 bucks an hour kind of sucks, but 13 bucks an hour on an 8-hour shift and you make $100 in tips, that's not so bad. You know, you leave with some cash and you got a little bit on your paycheck. That's not bad. So I saw this Uber driver just driving up and he's making money like that. And I'm thinking, dude, how much would he make if he drove like 10 hours? And I just started to think about it, you know. 3 days later, I bought a car. I went to the Toyota dealership, picked out like a used like Toyota Corolla, something that was like $7,000. It had, I think, 130,000 miles on it. Decent car. It was like a 6-speed, sunroof, spoiler, decent little car, right? So I was driving that car for a while. And now when I first started Rideshare, I did not sign up with Uber. I signed up with Sidecar first. And then after I, you know, felt my way around, because Sidecar was pretty easy. Because back in the day with Sidecar, you could see the pickup and drop off before you accept. And Sidecar was really simple. You know, you could set radiuses and everything. I didn't want to just sign up for Uber because back then Uber looked like, you know, this like big scary company, you know. So I was thinking I'll sign up with Sidecar and then I'll sign up with Lyft and then I'll eventually make my way over to Uber. That's exactly what I did. Sign up with Sidecar, and I did my first ride with Sidecar. That was a lot of fun. I was so nervous because when I did my first ride with Sidecar, I literally did not know San Francisco. Like I did not know San Francisco. I was relying on GPS 100%. And I learned the city really fast just driving at night. Because when I first moved here, I didn't know anything. Like 3 months after driving, I could get around this city like crazy. And after signing up with, I was with Sidecar for like a few months, not long. The thing that pissed me off with Sidecar, back in the day, Sidecar was donation based. And I remember once I picked up this guy in the marina. And I took him like all the way to like Dublin or something like that. Dublin, Pleasanton. It was like an hour-long drive. And like I said, back then, Sidecar was on the donation base. Whenever a rider would exit your car, on their phone, it would pop up this suggested price. So since I took him that far, it probably suggested like 70 bucks or something. Well, what customers could do back then on Sidecar was they could take that suggested price and knock it all the way down to zero. Meaning that they just got a free ride. And that's exactly what that guy did. And I was so pissed off after that happened. I was like, dude, this just is not cool. This is not cool. Like, I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna have to switch. So I switched over to Lyft. When I switched over to Lyft, Lyft was awesome because Lyft was just a little bit different. Lyft was a lot busier than Sidecar. A whole lot busier with Sidecar. One reason why I ended up switching from Sidecar was because I remember after Halloween, Sidecar just did like bloop, and I just was not getting any requests. So I signed up with Lyft. Lyft was rocking and rolling. Lyft was pretty awesome. I didn't stay with Lyft that long. I spent less time on Lyft because I believe I got some bonus for Lyft, like a $500 bonus. And then if I switched over to Uber, I was going to get another bonus. But it was around December that I really jumped in the pool with Uber. So I was working another valet gig. Now this is when I'm driving sidecar. So I still had the valet job and I was doing rideshare. And I was loving rideshare. I was loving rideshare. I'm like, this is cool. I can make money whenever I want. And I can still do this job too. Rock on. The number one reason why I never signed up for Uber off the get-go was because I was like sort of intimidated by Uber. But the main reason was I didn't think my car qualified. My car was like a 2007 and I thought you needed a 2009 and above. But apparently you only needed a 2007 and above. And I was, at this event and I see this Toyota Corolla pulls up and it has the U logo on it. And this car looks just like my car. And I'm thinking, dude, if that car is on Uber, like I'm gonna sign up with Uber. A couple days later, I went sign up with Uber. But when I went down there to sign up with Uber, oh my gosh. They told me, since you are coming from Lyft, you pay us no commissions. And we're going to give you a $500 bonus. We're going to give you a gas card. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you that. And I remember back then, the surge pricing would go to like 4 times on just a Thursday night. It would be 4X, And also, the rates were much, much higher back then than what they are today. Rates on UberX right now is like nothing. Back in the day, UberX was like, I think it was like $225 or something. Now imagine that with 4X surge. Every airport ride back in the day was $50. It was $50 flat rate. And I remember when Uber took no commission, it would just be $50 for taking someone to the airport. Now, today, you can take someone to the airport in Uber Pool and make like $13. $13. And just a couple of years ago, I would get $50 for that same ride. I mean, I remember just to make $100 back then, I want to say you could make $100 in like an hour and a half or 2 hours. Like just driving Friday night, Saturday night. I have no idea why I never pushed myself back then. Why I just didn't just drive like 13 hours a day. Because drivers were making a whole lot more money. I remember going to the Uber office and seeing the difference in the Uber office back then versus today. So back then, going to the Uber office, pretty much going to the Uber office, I remember all the drivers were in suits. Like almost every single driver were in suits because back then, it was mainly Uber Black and Uber SUV. And it wasn't Uber X. Uber X is basically a modern day taxi, Back in the day, Uber was a whole lot smaller. Today, Uber is an international company. Like they're like all over the world. Back then, they were growing much slower because with Uber SUV, like Uber SUV and Uber Black was pretty dang expensive. I'm talking about like $75, $80 to get to the airport from the financial district. And back in the day, Uber X was like $50. Today, Uber SUV is probably like, I want to say Uber SUVs maybe $50 nowadays. But those prices are falling too because now those drivers have more competition with more Uber X drivers out on the road. So everything has really changed. I want to say that back then the drivers were a whole lot safer than the drivers that we have today because back then drivers were like actual drivers, like they were professionals. Like people did Uber for a living. Today, Uber is pretty much full of a whole bunch of amateurs. Earlier today I took an Uber ride and gosh, we almost got into 3 major accidents. I didn't just say 3 accidents, I said 3 major accidents. Why is that? Well, because there's just a bunch of amateurs out there now. To be an Uber driver today, you just need a heartbeat. You need a decent driving record and you just need to pass a background check. Back in the day, you need to do those same things, but now it's so easy to become a driver. Like the quality is like just not there like it used to be. And back in the day, you would just never hear all the negative drama from Uber. And now all the negative drama is like, it's like good drama. And that's what people live for. Like people love to watch those videos of, you know, some crazy lady attacking the Uber driver, or some crazy Uber driver like yelling at some passenger. Like, people love those videos. But back in the day, like, Uber wasn't even that type of a company. It was like this, you know, suit and tie company. Now I guess it is like a suit and tie company, but it's like this huge international, like, we're gonna take over the world, we're gonna put it into public trans, we're gonna deliver your food for you, we're gonna just do everything for you now. And that's pretty much how it has changed a lot over the years. I've definitely noticed that a lot of drama that Uber drivers used to encounter at the airport, we don't really get that anymore. I mean, when I first started, it was like dangerous dropping a client off at the airport. Like, it was literally dangerous because taxi drivers would like block you in and try to get you arrested. The police would come out and try to write you tickets. Like, it was just really, really fishy. And back then, you were like not allowed to pick up from the airport, but for some reason, customers could still request rides from the airport, and for some reason, drivers would still be dispatched to the airport. And there was a long period of time where Uber was banned from San Francisco International Airport, but Lyft, on the other hand, was still picking up. Like, it's so weird. Like, how do you ban Uber from picking up from the airport, but you still let Lyft pick up too? I mean, obviously Lyft were probably not picking up as many riders as Uber, but watching all of this unfold in San Francisco was just like, I don't know, it's just been pretty cool to watch, you know? And next month in San Francisco, Uber is rolling out a whole another program where it's gonna be like $2 to take Uber. Obviously there's stipulations and there's, you know, some things that you can and can't do, but I'm really surprised to figure out how they're gonna tackle on that. Like, $2 for an Uber ride, it costs $2.25 to ride the freaking bus in San Francisco. And chances are, after you pay that $2.25, you're gonna have to stand up because there's no available seats. But at least with Uber, you mean to tell me it's gonna be cheaper than the bus and I can freaking sit down? I can't wait to see this. I can't wait for next month to hear what they're gonna roll out with. But yeah, pretty much Uber is this company that is constantly changing. Like, every day, like every time you look up, this company is doing something different. They're opening up in different markets. They're trying this, they're trying that. They're investing money over here. They're giving drivers this. They're taking this from drivers, you know. Every day it's something new, and I love it. I just can't wait to see what these people at 1455 Market Street come up with next. Like, what will they come up with next that's gonna change my life? Because just recently I haven't been driving Uber, but I've been using Uber as a passenger, and I love using Uber as a passenger. I love using Uber as a passenger. As a driver, you know, I like driving Uber, but I don't really like how they have played with the math and played with the numbers. Back in the day, they definitely did not play with the numbers with the hourly guarantees and all these crazy bonuses. Back in the day, they would never stack bonuses on top of hourly guarantees, on top of incentives. Today, they stack bonuses on top of incentives, on top of this, on top of that. So, I don't know, guys. I'm going to keep this video kind of short. There's people like coming in the kitchen right now, and I've just been out here talking for a long time. But bottom line, Uber is this crazy company that's changing by the day. So who knows if this company's going to be around tomorrow, or who knows, maybe they're going to buy up more companies. But anyway, I'm going to keep this video short. Thanks a lot for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.